Okay, welcome to our Momentum Monday call. It is Monday, September 9th. And today's topic, well, two things to actually announce. First is next Monday, I'm going to release our training schedule, and that's going to actually kind of detail out what topics we're going to be training each week, and also our guest speakers. We've got some guest speakers that are going to be training from other teams I'm really excited about. And that way you guys will have everything in advance and can plug your teams in. Or just know which recordings you want to make sure you catch. Not that they're not all important, but there might be specific topics you're struggling with, like doing a lunch party. I'm doing one this week for corporate here locally. And with that, I want to talk about IRL, which is in real life. Something that I've seen so much in the last couple of years is people utilizing social media almost exclusively. And it's not that social media is not an incredible tool, but it's just a tool. I just want to take you back for a minute. When I got started with ISA almost 6 years ago in December as a product user, it was because I went to an event, and it was not an Isagenix event. I went to a photography workshop, and there was a couple there that were getting photographed. They were our models, our fake engaged couple. They were a real married couple. And you know them, Taylor, the Slobans. And that day I met them in real life. And I also met two other girls. We were all just there to work on our photography skills. And what happened is, in that group of girls, one girl is Sasha, one girl is Natalie. I connected with them over the 2-day workshop and exchanged information, really hit it off with Natalie. We ended up becoming quite good friends out of the workshop. And of course became Facebook friends with the Slobans because they were also, they were our models. I needed to get them photos. But Sasha, one of the girls, asked the Slobans what they did. I did not. I did notice that they seemed very happy and very glowy. But Sasha asked what they did, and they talked about the fact that they were with a health and wellness company, and they help people both, feel better, lose weight, and also earn money. And Sasha at the time was looking to lose weight and also had 3 part-time jobs. She was doing a photography business, was an assistant photographer, was like working part-time for her mom, was working at a studio. And so she ended up getting started. About a month later, I saw on Facebook, because I was her Facebook friend, her 30-day transformation. And I reached out and I said, what the heck are you doing? Is it dairy-free, gluten-free? And if it is, how do I get it? She set up a call with Eden, the wife. I said, oh, I remember you from the photography workshop. That's what you do. Okay, cool. Well, I want to get started. Natalie, who I became friends with, started about 30 days later. At that workshop, they met 3 girls, all who became executives in their Isagenix business. I'm a 5-star. Natalie became a 2-star. Sasha became a 2-star. That brought in to their organization more than 15,000 people that I know of. More than 15,000 because they went to an event that was they were there for 1 day. Okay, 15,000 people. So who could you potentially meet that could bring in 15,000? But it's not just who you can meet, because the seduction is, oh my gosh, I can get online and I can connect with 40 people today, which sounds great. And you can, but how much quality is there really in that connection? Now, sometimes there really is. I mean, especially with a lot of the millennials in our group, there can be some great connection online. It's definitely more natural these days to connect with someone online, but it never has the same weight of an in-person meeting. And if I look at the people on my team who, have become executives or have done well, my first executive was someone that is married to my brother's best friend. I grew up with their family. My second executive, McKinsey, I met in person. Yes, we only met the one time for 30 minutes, but it was that in-person connection that then led to us, her Facebook stalking me. At the time, wasn't even on Instagram. And that in-person connection was what built. Okay. And then my third one was someone I went to high school with. And my fourth, I'm trying to remember. Anyway, it's all people I met in real life. And the reason I want to talk about how important this is recently, having a brand new baby, it's very easy. In fact, it doesn't matter what your situation, it's very easy to hide behind the computer screen. Okay. And to think, well, I'm adding people onto my follower list, or I'm sending out messages, and so I'm building my business. But I really want to encourage you, if you're watching this or listening to this, to get away from that and just think about that as a tool, one of many tools you have. About 2 weeks ago, I said, I really need to get out there and in person. I know I show up better in person than on social media. It doesn't mean that I don't show up well on social media. It just means that they're only going to get a glimpse of who I really am. And if we are really focusing on who we are as human beings, on personally developing ourselves, on growing who we are, on being interested in others, that's just so much more than someone can read in a couple of posts as they scroll. So a week ago, I got invited to something. It was totally not convenient. It was about an hour and 15 minutes away. It was a women's leadership luncheon at a female-focused co-work space. And I said, you know what, this sounds really fun. I'm going to invite a girlfriend to go with me. It's a girlfriend that is a product user that, is not someone's building the business. But I said, let's go together. I met such incredible women at that event. I haven't even followed up with all of them. But this morning after this call, I am interviewing the founder on my podcast. Do I think that will open up opportunities? Absolutely. More importantly, whether it's Isagenix or not, it opens up opportunities and doors in my life for me to connect with other people that are doing things that I want to do. Doing meaning they're about change, they're about positivity, they're about supporting others, right? Not everyone is going to join our business, but everyone is a door to an opportunity. And that could just be for friendship. And that's also absolutely wonderful, because I always tell people, if you're in my ISA business, we'll be friends, but you don't have to be in my ISA business to be my friend. And I hope everyone can adopt that same philosophy, because some people will never, ever join us, but that's absolutely okay. So I went to this event. It was wonderful. I got the best swag bag. I mean, the swag bag alone was worth it. And made some connections that I'm following up on. Out of the 20 women I meet, I bet you a couple of them will join my business. I bet I might have a new business builder out of that. If I don't, it's okay, because you know what? Getting out there, having this beautiful lunch, we did a meditation in the redwoods. It raised my vibration as a human being, and that's going to make me more attractive to other people. Second thing is, yesterday, I had another friend who's in my ISA business. She's enrolled a few people. She wants to build more, and she invited me to an event. And it was an event at Kendra Scott, the jewelry place. But it was for a local mommy blogger. And she said, hey, I would love you to come. And if the mommy blogger is later watching this, that's great. That means that was a very intentional conversation. But she said, I want to invite you, and I want you to meet her. I think she could be great in the ISA business, but also she's just really well connected. She's someone that does events constantly. And when you show up, not only is it fun and you get free bags, but also she's always about connecting other people. I said, that sounds like a great connection. So we went to this event. We were there less than an hour. I ended up seeing a girl that I complimented her on her hair. Her hair was done like a Disney princess. I was like, what is your hair done for? It's amazing. You literally look like a Disney princess from the back. So we ended up chatting. This woman is the #1 ballroom dancer in the United States in the over 40 category, and #4 in the United States in the all age category. Ended up connecting about ballroom dancing, which is a big love of mine that I have not been doing recently, but I set an intention a couple of weeks ago in the next 6 months to get back into ballroom dance. So we connected. I said, I am obsessed with ballroom dance. I would love to. I'm like, first of all, let me get your info. I want to look your videos up, because she's also a master instructor. So we connected. She texted me. I said, here, why don't you just text me from your phone? So that's one way to get someone's info, is to actually have them text you. I saved it, texted her back my Instagram handle. I'm like, let's connect on social media. And she invited me in for a free private dance class at the studio that she's a master instructor, which I'm so excited about. But guess what? The clue is here. I'm going to show up there in my best energy, not because I'm trying to recruit her, but because I'm excited about it. And secondly, she's also going to be on my podcast. So these things would have never happened had I just said, you know what, I'm not going to go to the event. Let me just follow that mommy blogger. Let me just send her a message. No, I was introduced by someone. Now we have a mutual contact. It's a mutual friend. I met another woman. That woman wasn't even there. She was just there shopping. Okay. That I would have never met. Will they join my business? Who knows? But the important thing is it really reminded me of how important it is to get out there in person, in real life, and connect with other human beings, and I did my makeup and I wore something cute. And doesn't mean you always have to, but I probably wouldn't go out to an event like this, right? In fact, I probably shouldn't have been showing up to calls like this, but it's okay, because you guys all know me. We've all met in real life. You know who I am. You know how I show up. So the kind of the moral of the story is I would challenge everyone to get out and at least once a week get to a real event. Now, what does that mean? A real event could be a workout class, and best practices around that are show up 10 to 15 minutes early. Like when the instructor's setting up, go in, introduce yourself, ask them, what other classes do you teach? What's the best place to sit? Tell them what your fitness goals are. Ask them what they recommend you do for whatever your goals are. Get to know the instructor, friend them on social media. I enrolled a yoga instructor who's a consultant now. He's enrolled several people, great retention, who's in my local area. And I will, of course, be inviting him to this event I'm doing on Thursday and inviting him to bring friends because he's been to one event. Go to a meetup, meetup.com. I know it's like an oldie. It's not as cool as Bumble, but it still has some great value because you can go to a meetup that is focused around a subject that you're interested in. I mean, I would encourage you, go to something that you're going to show up as your best self. Like, don't go to something you're not interested in because you're going to be bored and people will pick up on that energy. But if, like, Taylor, what are you into? Like, what's one of your favorite things? You like wine tasting, right? Okay, so go to a wine tasting event, go to a dinner party, go to an opening for a new restaurant, go to a workout group. You don't have to host events. You can just go. Hosting events can be a lot of work, but it also can be very fun. But just getting out to events of any type in person, and it doesn't have to be a big organized event. Okay, like I said, a workout class is fine. Go to a co-work space. But when people are at events, they're typically intentional about meeting other people. So if you're there to network and they're there to network, networking happens. And then lastly is an ISA event. So there's so many events you can look at isaevents.com. I think it's ISA Associate Events. I think it's IAE, but isagenicevents.com. And find an event in your area and make it your intention to bring people with you. So this week on Thursday, I'm hosting this event with corporate, and my goal is to get a minimum of 5 people there, ideally people that have never been to an event. So my friend Sarah that I went to the event with yesterday, she's coming. She's been in my business as a product user for 1.5 years. She's enrolled a few people, but she's never been to an event. And what do we know about events? Is events build belief. So we're talking 2 ways here. One is get to any type of event in real life to meet people. And then it's not as weird when you've met them in person to invite them to something. Like, hey, I'm going to this health and wellness event Wednesday night. It would be super fun if you came with me. They're going to give away a free product or whatever. Lastly, excuse me, is when you meet someone in real life. Sorry, hold on one second. Coughing here. Drinking celery juice, and it's like gets everything started in the morning. When you meet someone at a non-ISA event and they ask, what do you do? And I think everyone on this call for the most part is maybe not doing ISA full time, right? It's a part-time thing. So you absolutely can tell them what you do, but then tell them what you're excited about. So for example, Abby, what do you do? When someone asks you, what do you do? What do you say?
I head people and culture at a software development firm, and I also own a nonprofit.
Perfect. So Abby is the person that's doing a lot of things, right? So she could say, well, yeah, oh, thanks for asking. She says exactly what she just says. And I have a nonprofit. And what I'm also really excited about is, now she could say, I'm really excited about building a network marketing business, but that's, what would be really good is to say, and I love helping people blank. So most people, when they're asking you what you do, think about it. If you tell them what you do and they know it is, like, oh, I'm like my old job, I'm VP of sales and marketing for a real estate development company. Okay, that's probably the conversation ender. I mean, they might say, oh, what company or whatever, but then unless they're really interested, they're not going to ask for more. But if I say, well, I help people find the home of their dreams, they still know that's real estate. They might be like, oh, okay, well, tell me more. If you say how you help people, they're always going to ask you typically more questions, or it's going to open up more opportunity. So I'd encourage you, instead of just saying, well, oh, I'm an associate with Isagenix or a consultant or a manager or a director or executive or whatever, have a statement of how you help people. And you can switch that up to who you're talking to. So for example, last night, that dancer, we never talked about it, but I could have said, oh, well, I help people, excuse me, I help people in their 40s feel younger and fitter than they've ever been before. She'd be like, well, how do you do that? Like, well, through a combination of great nutrition, mindset, and community, whatever seems appropriate at that time. But I'd highly encourage everyone to have a couple of those I help blank, do blank statements. Like right now, I help moms get back their bodies before motherhood, or I help moms get rid of the mom brain, because I am telling you, mom brain is real. I cannot wait to be able to use all my Isagenesis again. Ildiko. So Ildiko could say, well, I help other moms who want to be present with their kids earn an income from home. Brandy's doing the same thing. right? I mean, it can be as simple as that, but you can tailor it to whoever you are talking to. But the last thing I want to say before we jump off, and I said I commit to having this call be less than 20 minutes, is what are you saying the first time you meet someone? You noticed yesterday when I talked to both of those women, it never even came up what I did. Why? It wasn't that I was being evasive. It was that I was focusing on them. I was focusing on finding out more about them. I was asking them questions. Absolutely. Did I intend to get their information or to connect? Sure. But I know in my life, I love talking. I'm interested in myself. It's not a bad thing, right? But I'm really being intentional on one mouth, two ears, ask questions. And people always remember people that ask them questions. In fact, one of the biggest reasons I fell for my husband, why I was so interested in him on the first date, I thought I was very interested that he was so tall, but it was because he was a phenomenal question asker. And I was like, wow, I felt like he was interesting, but the reality is that he was interested. He asked me so many questions, and people love to talk about themselves. It's just true. They love to talk about themselves. So the more you ask them questions, the more they're going to want to talk to you more later because you made them feel important. You made them feel good. So even though, yes, you should have that statement that you're able to say, please do not be the person that's going there with the, I'm going to talk to them about Isagenix. I'm going to invite them to an event the first time you meet them. The first time you meet someone, it's just to build rapport. Now, it may come up in the conversation because timing is right, like it did with McKinsey or like it does with some people. It may come up that it is the right time and they're in the right place that they're going to ask you and the questions are just going to lay out in front of you to talk about what you do. But that is going to be the exception, not the rule. The exception is going to, or the rule is going to be that you're going to ask them about themselves. You're going to ask them about what they do. You're going to ask them about what they're excited about. Ask them open-ended questions. That is questions that they answer that is not a yes or no question. So don't say, oh, do you work? Yes. Oh, well, what do you do? Just say, hey, what are you working on? Or what do you do for a living? Or what's your passion? That's even a better one, right? What are you passionate about? Because they may say, well, oh, that's a great question. Well, I'm really passionate about this. Are you doing it? No, I'm not. Well, what's the reason you're not? Ask those questions that are going to bring those answers that are ultimately going to tell you when they ask you what you do, how you should respond. It's so much more powerful when you know what their pain points are to be able to ask or answer your question and address their pain points. Any questions before we sign off for today or comments? So if you caught this late, listen to the recording. It's all about meeting people in real life. And again, my challenge is to everyone is go to meetup.com or go to Bumble or go to somewhere and find an event this week that is going on and get to it. Ideally, an event that's going to either have people that are the people that you get excited about connecting with. For me, it's other women, other moms, other women that are excited about doing things, other women that are positive, like the woman I'm interviewing today. It's not about network marketing. She is a former professional dancer. She was a ballerina who, after she got into her full-time job, decided she wanted to open a co-work space because she got tired of working from home. She is a woman that's about lifting up other women. And whether or not she ever joins my business, don't you think that she's going to have some really interesting connections? And she invited me already in October to attend the opening for their new co-work space. It's going to be a big event all about women that are looking for community because they work from home, which is perfect. Abby was saying she formed a meetup group for her startup, Kindly, and she needed to take advantage of it to find new groups and events. Great advice. That's the other thing is just when you go to a space to work, even your ISA business, go and interact with people first. I bet you if you are at a co-work space where you can make phone calls and you're on a call and you're talking to other people, if you're vision casting, somebody's going to ask you, what do you do? Because we know when we vision cast for people, if somebody was listening to this call right now, they'd be like, oh my gosh, that sounded exciting. What is it that you do? Don't be afraid to be you and do your business in front of other people. Taylor just joined a Pilates studio. She signed up for classes every day this week. That's incredible. Bring on the new friends. Absolutely. Get to that class early. Connect with the instructor and connect with other people. Compliment them. Compliments are one of the easiest ways. Adika, glad that you're loving these short Zooms. And just to remind everyone, next week I'm going to come out with the actual training schedule for the rest of the year, including who our guest trainers are. To remind you, every other week we will have a guest trainer that I'll bring from another team or someone that's doing really well in their business that will come on and drop some nuggets of wisdom. And then our other weeks will be these 15-minute calls. So have a beautiful Monday, and I'm going to upload this recording, and then I challenge everyone, pop in the Zoom what you're going to be doing, what event you're going to, and ideally who you meet. Have a great one.